first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot. Hello and welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Men's and Women's National Championships. We're live from the Canoe Country Club in Summit, New Jersey, bringing you the 2026 APTA National Championships with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following. Our presenting sponsors for this event, Land Rover, Parsippany, where excellence comes standard. Our platinum sponsors, Sea Louse, helping clients achieve their investment objectives since 1984. The New Jersey Men's League, the New Jersey's Women's Platform Tennis League. Our gold level sponsors, PPAC Private, Pure Hockey, Skinletics, UPS, Xenon, M4, and Viking. Our silver level sponsors, Durango Social, Center Court, Spyro Harrison and Nelson, Courtside Rehab and Training, Equals 5, Grant Homes, Cisco, Susan Penny Parcells at Sotheby's, Jackson Lewis, Richard Wright from One Point, BFG Wealth Partners, One Digital, Unity Jets, and Wealth Enhancement. And thank you to all our additional sponsors who helped make this event spectacular. I'm Patty Hogan with the one and only Diamond Dave Broderick calling Wire2Wire action, which means we're going to bring you action from 3 matches. This match that we're going to start off with is our number 2 seeded team in the tournament, Guillermo Nunez and Mark Powers, national champions a couple years ago in Boston, up against Chicago's finest in Tom Murphy and Ronnie Schneider. Dave, welcome to the booth.
Patty, thank you. Great to be here on this exciting extended day of platform tennis here at Canoe Country Club in Summit, New Jersey. Exciting time with all the matches we're streaming throughout the course of the day. We're finishing up the night here with the men's round of 16 matches, bringing you several different, 3 different matches that we'll be calling. And to your point, we started out with Murphy, Schneider, Nunez, Powers, and we see it's a 1-1 battle here. I think, Patty, as we get later into these matches, I think they're all going to start getting tighter, a little bit better. So it's going to be an exciting next couple of hours for everybody that are here live and for those that are home watching from the luxury of their own home.
Okay, Dave, who's our umpire for this match?
Our umpire for this match, I had it right in front of me.
Ron
Bergotti.
Ron Bergotti is back up in the chair, and I love kicking this Wire2Wire men's 16s edition off with Powers and Nunez. I mean, what a great team. But I'll tell you, they came up against it. Second round, great match. Our tournament co-chair, Blake Anderson, teaming up with Martin Bostrom, put a scare in Nunez and Powers earlier today, Dave. They won the first set, and then Nunez and Powers went into overtime and, separated themselves after losing that first set to Anderson and Bostrom. But kind of fun for the tournament co-chair. Give the former national champs a run for their money here, Dave.
Yeah, Anderson doesn't play that often anymore, but, when him and Martin Bostrom team up together, they're still a tough pair. It's a tough out. I remember a couple of years ago up in Darien, where Martin and Blake had a breakthrough win over, I believe it was Graham McNerney and his partner, and that kind of propelled them. They did pretty well for a while, and then Blake's been hampered with some injuries, so they definitely had a good match. Nunez Powers got up a little bit 5-4 and then wound up closing out at 5-2. They were up and they closed it out at 6-4. Patty, I do want to just mention we have Nancy Denig is our chair umpire.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Thank you, Dave.
Ron Borgatti is the chair umpire for Hanson Taylor against Hall of Famer Johan Durant and Philippe Rams.
Got it.
So, Patty, I've watched Murphy and Schneider quite a bit this year, and I like watching them play. They're fun to watch play. They're excellent players, and I think in the long run, I think Nunez and Powers will prevail in this match. But they're definitely going to get tested, and again, we talk about it week in and week out, the depth of the men's and women's game and how it's getting deeper and the players are getting better. And as much as I think Nunez and Powers should prevail in this match, they still have to be playing their game. They can't take walkabouts in the middle of these matches.
No, Murphy and Schneider are that good that they could if they wouldn't. They can't afford too many walkabouts. Tom Murphy and Ron Schneider, Indianapolis, Indiana, residents. Murphy hails from Baltimore, Maryland. He played college tennis at the University of Dayton. Played #1 singles all 4 years. Pretty impressive, Dave. He was an Indiana former state champion in tennis. Grew up playing a ton of sports. Super nice guy. Ronnie Schneider played on the Pro Tour. Played college tennis at UNC, Dave. Really talented player. You see a lot of movement out of him typically when they play. You see Murphy can bring his forehand. Murphy loves hitting drop shots, great hands at the net. So it's a fun matchup here.
Patty, I like watching Murphy when he pulls out the topspin one-handed backhand.
Oh, yeah. Mark Powers, we know, he's a two-time APTA national champion, won in 2018 with John Hughes, beating some guy Broderick and Palmer, and their 3-year streak in the finals of nationals, pretty incredible win for them. And in 24 with Nunez over Rigoletto Salazar in that epic matchup in Boston.
Patty, we just want to remind everyone out there that 40-year-old deuce in the men's tour, it's no-ad scoring games. So you see there on the error, Murphy Schneider with a 2-1 lead. Hey, Patty, today's event is proudly sponsored by Land Rover Parsippany. Experience exceptional service and luxury performance. Visit LandRoverParsippany.com. Patty, I could see you in a big Land Rover.
Dave, did you see
Land Rover Sport kind of gal.
Dave, I'm loving driving it around. I got that courtesy car. I picked it up Thursday afternoon. What time did they deliver yours?
You know what? I only received mine this morning, but it was smooth coming down on Route 78.
Yeah, impressive handling in that car. I love that perch from up high in those Range Rovers, Dave. I like that high vantage point. So, Dave, that's Tom Murphy serving. It's Ronnie Schneider with his back to us at the net. Guillermo Nunez is the lefty on the far side in the deuce court. And that's the one and only Mark Powers out of that ad court.
Patty, it's kind of like last night at the Hall of Fame dinner. Drew's college roommate, 7-footer Jake Voskel. It gives you, sitting up higher, it gives you a different, he gets a different perspective on life. He sees it from above.
Dave, the winner of this match will play the quarterfinals tomorrow at noon here at Canoe Country Club in Summit, New Jersey, against the winner of Bentheim Friedrich against, I think,
Catino.
Oh, Catino and Vauclair. The one and only Louis Vauclair.
Louis.
The most interesting man in battle.
We gotta go.
Wait, Dave, can you do that again? I was talking over your song, sorry.
Louis. Oh.
Dave, your pitch is a little bit of a hard thing for me to pick up on. I was trying to chime in.
Patty, ever since that Roto-Rooter jingle, I've been on it.
I was so ready to chime in. We're going to have to practice.
Patty, I'll tell you what. I think this is going to be a pretty exciting night. We started out with the women's round of 16, and we had a couple of really good, solid matches, exciting matches, and then we saw a couple. Then we see there the drop shot in the hands by Tom Murphy. The way he closes the net and really gets on top of the net. One of the best in the business. He's right up there, and he's got nice soft hands. But it allowed them to take a 3-1 lead here in the first set. But what I was saying is, we started out with the women's matches, a couple of super exciting close ones, a couple of upsets, and now we're going back into 8 men's matches in round of 16, and I think the level of play and the excitement is just going to keep increasing as kind of the weekend goes on.
One of the matches we'll be following, I think you mentioned it, Johan Durant and Philippe Rams up against Dan Hansen. And who's Hansen's partner, Dave? Taylor? Let's say his last name. Taylor?
Taylor, yep.
Taylor, okay. And young Russell Benkind, one of your proteges, Dave.
Coming back from a foot injury, broken foot.
It's interesting. Another kind of slow start, a sluggish start for Nunes Powers here. And I look to Nunes and Powers to tighten it up quickly. They don't want to go 3 sets like what happened to them with Bostrom and Anderson in their second round match here.
No, I agree with you 100%. But I was going to add to your point. Not only do they want to they're definitely going to tighten things up, but I think they're still going to go for the shots that they want to hit. I don't think they're changing their strategy. They just have to realize that, what, we went for the right shot. We just have to now start making them. I tell everyone, I truly feel this, that, as you get later and later in the matches and the level of play keeps increasing, the simpler the game gets.
See, we talked about Mark Powers and his national titles. This might be a little bit of a trick question.
Ooh.
What was the first national title Mark Powers ever won?
Well, he's a junior national champion.
He is a former junior national champ, open national champ. Who are the other people in our sports that accomplished that feat of winning junior national titles and open national titles?
Dave Ohlmuller.
Dave Ohlmuller.
My main man since 1985. Mike Stulak.
Bobo Delaney.
And Sarah Krieger.
Scott Estes.
Is that it? Am I missing any others?
I'm just thinking. I'm pondering that.
And Patty.
Who's the only Canadian to win junior nationals and open nationals?
Like Stulak. And Patty, after last weekend, the junior nationals were held right here at Cunningbrook Country Club. And, we potentially have future junior and senior national champions, or junior and open national champions.
What national champion son has won the most junior national titles?
Ooh. Probably my favorite platform tennis player right now in the world, Vincent Broderick.
I don't think that's the answer I was looking for.
Okay.
That was kind of a trick question for you, Dave. I did want to stump you.
All right, Patty, Corient is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 2025-2026 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at Corient.com. Patty, what do you think if we take a trip down the road and maybe check out another match?
Okay, but Dave, first, you've got to answer my question. What former national champs, kid, son or daughter, and Dave, I'm going to give you a clue, daughter,
Oh,
Come on, Dave.
Bobo Delaney's daughter.
That's right. Corey.
I'm sorry?
Corey Delaney.
Corey Delaney, yes.
Nikki Ross won 5 junior national titles together. I think that tied them. I think the Burkhart twins out of Philadelphia, I think they had 4 together as a team. Dave, who do you want to switch over to?
Why don't we check out the GOAT, Johan Durant, and check in on him and see how he's doing. We don't get to watch him that much these days.
So, the GOAT, Johan Durant. 6 national titles, Dave, for Johan?
I believe 6 national championships with, what do you have, 3 different partners?
He did. Dave, name them.
Mark Parsons, Jerry Albrights, and Stephen Mitchell.
Okay, what year was Jerry Albrights? What year was Albrights, Durant the winners? I'll give you a clue. Philadelphia.
2010.
Philadelphia Nationals.
That was a fine year.
That was a great year. So, Johan's hooked up here with his buddy, Philippe Rams. Great guy, great player out of Pittsburgh. He is so happy. I was talking to the guys last night at the cocktail party. Philippe is so happy that he's playing nationals with Johan and not against him. Philippe is an amazing player. He's had some great partners and bumped out of the quarters a couple times by Johan and partner, mostly Johan and Stephen Mitchell, the great Stephen Mitchell.
And just so everyone's watching there, in the dark colored shirt on the left side of your screen serving is Johan Durant. His partner up at the net is Philippe Rams. And their opponents on the baseline are left side of your screen, Dan Henson. And his partner on the right side of your screen on the baseline is Alex Taylor.
Alex Taylor from Santiago, Chile, lives in Pelham, New York, and he's the head pro at Pelham Country Club in Pelham Manor. Dan Hansen, he is like a human highlight reel, Dave. I mean, this match is going to have spectacular shot making. Dan Hansen, true or false, born in Montreal, Canada.
True.
True or false, he works for the U.S. Navy as a mechanical engineer building nuclear submarines.
I believe that is also true.
True or false, he played college tennis at Temple.
No, Tomas Christian played at Temple. Dan Hansen was a Drexel Dragon.
All right, Dave, I just want to see if you're paying attention. Where did Alex play college tennis?
Down in Florida, St. Leo's.
Former #1 tennis player in Chile. Philippe's one of the few top players on the tour. He's not a teaching pro, Dave. He's a lawyer.
He is a lawyer out in Pittsburgh.
Yep, and I'm sure his wife Addie and his daughters Lucy and Scout are enjoying the action. Philippe, hails from Poland, came over to the States for college. Where did he play college tennis, Dave?
Temple University. The old Temple Owls. Patty, shout out to Temple Owls, their head football coach, Casey Keeler, my former college tennis coach back in the day.
Dave, name a player who has a winning record against Johan Durant in the finals of nationals. Is there a player?
I think there is. I think it is Drew Broderick.
I think you're right. Talk about dramatic, different approaches to how you play the sport of platform tennis. Johan brings a unique skill set to the game. Drew brings a unique skill set. One goes from 0 to 150 in under 3 seconds.
And one goes from 0 to 1 in over 3 minutes.
No, one goes from 0 to 1 in 3 hours.
You know what? But as they say, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat.
And that's it. And Dave, how do players who are watching this, like, they want to hit shots like Johan or Dan Hansen or whatever? What's your best advice on how to figure out what your playing style should be based on?
I think if you're trying to play one way and you're making a lot of unforced errors and mistakes, maybe look to change it up a little bit. And again, there's no right or wrong way to play. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that it is all about keeping the ball in play. Patty, it's great to see, we haven't seen a lot of Johan Durant on tour this year, but he's still an amazing shot maker, and, he definitely adds an excitement to the game. I saw him last night at the Hall of Fame dinner and told him how happy and excited I was to see him out here playing.
And we talk about dramatically different playing styles that Johan had from Drew, each equally great in my opinion. Some people enjoy watching the fast-paced matches. Some people enjoy the long, drawn-out matches. To me, where I was going with my earlier question, Dave, is you have to figure out what your own skill set is.
Right.
And then your playing style should be based on
what your skills are.
Built around what you do well. And
Patty, just to give an example of that, because I talk about it quite a bit, is...
Oh, now you're going to answer my question, Dave.
You probably shouldn't hit a lot of lobs if playing the screens isn't your best asset. If you're a good driver, you probably want to drive more than you lob. Just an example out there. Patty, why don't we take a look at Bentheim and Friedrich?
You've had enough of this match, Dave?
No, but let's take a peek around. We have the ability to browse around, and let's give everyone their due time on the live stream.
Dave, consider it done. Anything for you, Dave.
And there we go, 4-all here in the first set.
Dave, will you go around the horn and identify our players?
Sure, that's on the right side of the bottom of the screen. That's Louis Vauclair. His partner over there on the left side is, you can't really see him, Catino. And their opponents at the net in the blue, light blue top on the right side of your screen at the net is Bentheim, and his partner on the left is Friedrich.
Do they have first names, or are they like Prince? They just go by last names now.
We have Russell Bentheim, Gabe Friedrich, Louis Vauclair,
and Rafa.
Rafael Catino.
Rafa. That's the other Rafa.
Ooh, I don't know if there's another one. There's only one.
I mean, there can be a Rafa in paddle.
In my house, there's now the other Dave, but I don't know if you could have the other Rafa.
Dave, so 5-set first set. I mean, this is kind of what I expected. I thought this was going to be a really amazing match to watch, and I don't really know Rafa very well. I met him the other night here at Canoe Brook. Super nice guy, talented pro, and Louis Vauclair really is the most interesting man in the sport of platform tennis. Louis is a great guy, pro up at Ridgewood Country Club, super talented player. He was born in France, and Rafa, looking up some stats on these guys. These guys played Montclair, Dave, together, and they played Montclair together, Dave, and they had an amazing, they lost in the round 16s, but that was the emergence of Ethan Leone and Matt Morio, who burst into the team, the Philadelphia pros, one from Radley Run from Waynesboro Country Club, and they've been one of the, they were one of the new teams who broke out on the scene on the men's side this season. Super talented young guys.
All right, Bentheim Friedrich, 2 points away from the first set.
Gabe Friedrich, money on his forehand, Dave. He's robotic on his forehand. And Russell, as we said, coming back from recovering beautifully from foot surgery earlier in the season, and that was great because we got to get him in the announcer's booth. He's such a talented player. He's got every shot, Dave. I know you're his mentor and doing a great job, and Russell's super nice young guy on the tour. Teaches platform tennis over at Orange Lawn.
Yep.
In South Orange, New Jersey. Does he have a weakness, Dave? I mean, honestly, you look at all these guys, there's no glaring weakness that any of these players have. They've got every shot in the book.
The only weakness I would say Russell has is he has too much ability and talent. And sometimes he has so many options that, I think it just puts him on overload.
And so the sport comes down to minimizing your errors relative to the other team. If the other team's making a lot of errors, you can afford to make some errors if you can offset it with winners. You've got to find out that, you've got to figure out that balance. But it comes down to decision making. And I think when you are as talented as Russell, he picks up a paddle and, it's like fireworks going off in his brain and what he has potential to execute and making that decision. And I think the longer people play paddle, they just have more composure, more discipline in those moments. And instead of having 9 thoughts go through your brain, right, you already have, you kind of have shaken off the first 6 automatically.
Right.
And you've got only 1 or 2 choices at that moment. And that's where the top players in the game will read their opponent's positioning before deciding on where they're going to hit it. I think that's what happens. And so I think I see so many players, so much talent on the APTA tour, week in, week out. But I think it really comes down to ones who always seem to come through. It's because of their shot selection, Dave.
Yeah, I think for Russell, the more, especially early on in the matches, if he can figure out what shots are working and just kind of stick to them, I think that makes the decision making a lot easier. Patty, we just saw an update that our last women's round of 16 match was completed with Townsend and Nube taking down O'Sullivan and Sarich.
Considered an upset, Dave?
According to the seed, I think it's an upset, but
I consider it an upset. But it wasn't an upset, Dave, because O'Sullivan and Sarich, the number 6 seeds, won that match. Is that what you said? Sorry.
I may have read it wrong.
Well, you're never wrong, Dave. But I think it would have been an upset if Nube and Townsend pulled it out. O'Sullivan and Sarich have kind of established themselves right on the cusp of being the top 4 or 5 teams in the country here. Nube, Townsend, they're still battling the storms. They have extraordinary talent, but they've got to be able to put it together in a match and kind of, keep some kind of, like, to me, when I see they got it into, they won the first set. And so O'Sullivan and Sarich, to their credit, came back 7-5. And then a 6-0 third set, Dave, to me, that troubles me.
Yeah.
And what causes a loss of 6-0 after you split sets against the number 16 in the country?
I think it's just a little bit of focus.
Little focus.
Maybe fatigue.
Fatigue. And I think the mental approach comes into it, and the mental, how you play this game, how you approach it, and, how you respond to the good and bad. You have to ride those waves. And I think Nube Townsend, as a team, have to learn to kind of ride those waves just a little bit better. They have extraordinary talent, but nothing's handed to you in this sport. You've got to earn it. And every match, I mentioned it last night with Drew Broderick, what's made him special as a player, in my opinion, is he played every point, whether it's practice or match, the same. Didn't matter if he was expected to crush someone 0-0. He didn't matter. He played with the exact same intensity. And I think that's a lot of these players who are on the rise in the game could look to that approach and really, really help vault themselves a little bit up higher in the rankings.
All right, Patty, we have a little bit of interesting turn of events here. We had Bentheim Friedrich with 4 set points on their last service game, and Coutinho and Vauclair were able to come back and win that game to knot it up at 5-all, and then Ben Confreer came roaring right back with another break of serve. So they're going to be serving for the set for a second time.
Dave, can you do me a favor and identify the players for me one more time?
Absolutely. Up at the net on the left-hand side of your screen is Russell Bentheim. His partner in all black is Gabe Friedrich. Their opponents on the bottom of the screen to the right in a black top is Rafa Coutinho, and his partner in the white top is Louis Vauclair. It's a well-placed volley there by Louis Vauclair.
I'll tell you, Louis and Gabe, they're a really good team together. I did see them play at Montclair. Really impressive and a good blend. And I think Louis Vauclair has a lot of confidence in Gabe as a partner. And I think that helps make his game better. He knows he'll get plenty of looks. And he loves like moving around. He relies on a lot of quickness, explosive shot making capability. And I think his level of play is really high. His confidence level playing with Friedrich is really fun to watch.
And I think
that's Coutinho, sorry.
And we've watched.
And wait a second, I totally messed that up. And you knew I did.
Yep.
These guys switch around at the top of the game, Dave. It's hard to keep track of it all, but that's okay. Vauclair played with Friedrich. They were a really good team. Decided to team up with Bentheim for the Nationals. So this is a fascinating matchup because of that, right, Dave?
Yeah.
The guys start the season. We'll play a couple tournaments here, and then everybody, you either get drafted by or not by your buddies, and so I think there's a little bit of incentive on both sides for these guys to really grind this match out. So
maybe even a little motivation.
I think a lot of motivation. I would expect this to be a 3-setter. Little discussion on a call here, Dave. I'll tell you, these umpires APTA has, they're a great group. They take their job seriously. They are prepared, and the ball it's just moving at such great pace. They do a really good job of handling all these situations, and the discrepancies that will come up naturally. Especially that guy, Dave Nejedlik. He is money as an umpire. I think he might be one of my favorite umpires. He's in my top 5.
They all do a really good job.
They all do a great job. Dave just walked by. I had to say that. And kudos to the Nejedlik family. Here's their son-in-law, Russell, playing, and Karen is a force for the APTA, and Dave's a force for the umpiring. Totally committed. They're so passionate about it. They're key players, Karen in particular, with the Cleveland Flats program. APTA awarded the biggest grant ever, $75,000, to help Cleveland Flats complete their project a couple of years ago. And just an extraordinary effort. It took so much time, but created a wonderful facility. Wonderful facility out there in Cleveland.
I was lucky enough to visit it and do a couple.
You did some coaching, Dave.
Teaching workshops out there, and beautiful facility down on the water. Really nice.
Dave, I think that's when Karen got to I think Karen, that's when she really got to know and admired you, Dave. You went out there, and I think you raised the bar. You just kind of opened their eyes about high. You offer a high-level teaching approach to it, and you are passionate about your teaching, and you up their level for all their pros out in that community. It was a tremendous gift to an early effort to grow the game of paddle, and they're so appreciative of you going out.
Well, thank you for that, Patty. No, I enjoyed my time out there. Got to go to a Cleveland Guardians, formerly known as the Cleveland Indians game, and especially thank you to the Richardson family, Sean Richardson from out in Cleveland, with the tickets, and he's a big part of the Flats paddle facility. The Richardson family, Sean's brother Michael and sister-in-law Amy Richardson from New Jersey, members of the Short Hills Club, Bayhead Yacht Club. So
Kelly Larson's sister? Is that right, Dave?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Kelly Larson, member of Canoe Brook.
Yep.
That's Amy's her sister. Dave, speaking of Kelly, she's one of the many volunteers. So many of Canoe Brook Country Club's members have stepped up to the plate. They did a wonderful job in planning the party last night for Jared Palmer and Drew Broderick's induction. They hit it out of the park. The food was amazing. The atmosphere, what we expected and what we look forward to. And we love coming to Nationals, seeing friends that we only see maybe once a year at Nationals. It's quite a tradition. It's in our blood. We kind of bank on it. And, as I expressed in my induction for Drew, we're all part of a bigger community, the paddle community. Any paddle player, whoever meets, remembers each other. And, it's just that's what makes Nationals so fun. And, you see people who traveled so far for your brother's induction, even from out of the country. I mean, who did that? Who traveled out of the country to be your brother? Robert Kraus. What a great guy. He came from Israel for last night's event and to enjoy the weekend. And, he's kind of disappointed that it's not colder because he can't bring out that red one-piece ski
red
suit.
onesie ski suit.
The red onesie. He actually said when they moved, he's not sure where it went. He's a little troubled by that. So, Dave, I expected this thing to be a nail biter, and it is. That worked out.
All right, another set point here for Benkheimer and Friedrich.
Dave, do you think the women's game should go to no ad scoring like the men's? I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry, bud.
I don't think so. And again, I think with the men's game, the only reason the switch was made was because last year we had, quite a few 5-hour matches, several a couple 5-hour matches.
Finals of the Nationals, 5.5.
Quite a few 4-hour matches. So, I think it was about more of a timing issue than anything. So, the women's are starting to get longer. The players are getting better. The depth of the draws are getting deeper. And there we see the shot-making ability of Russell Benkheimer there on a set point.
So do you think it's a good idea, Dave?
No, I think it's a good idea from a perspective of excitement and for the fans watching it. But I don't think it's for a timing issue. It needs to get done yet. But it would definitely add a level of excitement into the matches.
Well, here's the thing, Dave. I'll argue that the women should go no ad. I'll tell you why after.
Patty, you want to go and take a peek at a different match after that first set by Benkheimer Friedrich?
Heck yeah, Dave. Who should we go to? Let's see. How about we go back to where we started. Murphy Schneider, Nunez Powers. Nunez Powers up 5-4, first set. We are in the round of 16s, APTA National Championships. With Patty Hogan, along with the one and only Dave Broderick, Hall of Fame broadcaster, calling the action. Dave, and this is what we expect, all the 16s. We know all these guys are just phenomenally talented rackets players, and because to your point earlier when we started these round of 16s, the season ends here for these guys, and they've grinded it out since this tour started at Montclair, New Jersey, in October at the Montclair Open, and everyone knows this is elimination time.
That's it.
No one wants to start their off season just yet.
Nobody wants Charles Barkley sending him to Cancun.
But see, Dave, when we talk about separation in the sport, here you have Nunes Powers, finalists last year in Nationals, winners of Nationals 2 years ago. They're out here with Murphy Schneider. Great team from Indianapolis. It's 5-4. I mean, anything can happen. And that's the depth in the game that makes it so exciting. And we've always had that depth in the men's game. I'm thrilled that the women's game is bringing in so many players, such an influx, and really adding that depth on the women's side as well. So you get to see round of 16 matches, which are upsets, which you never saw. Maybe the first upset in women's play might have been a semifinal. You had so many good teams who just knew how to get it done, win matches, and move on. Where now, what it takes to get through each of these rounds is really an incredible effort. Dave Broderick Christian up 4-2 in their round of 16 match against Dobbich and Pardo. Regalado and Salazar, our event's number one seed, are just underway in their match against Tyler Fraser and Eric West. Montclair's Micker and Essex Fells Sven Veris. They're down early in their first set to Leon and Moyo 4-1.
Tell you, Patty, just to add on to your point a little bit, as you get later in these matches, and the players are so good that it's really hard to cruise to a win. Even a 6-1, 6-1 win is a grind. It's not the type of game where you can just, the screens are a great equalizer. Some of the rules are great equalizers. So it's really hard to really just blow a team off the court.
Yeah, Dave, that's a great point. And when you look at the scores, it does seem lopsided at times, but it's never lopsided. It's a battle. And Dave, how about the job that Blake Anderson, Rob Scanoni, and the amazing tournament committee has done here? Like we said, Bruce Redpath upped the bar last year, but I'm telling you, Jersey Nationals is hitting it out of the park. Incredible campus. The environment here, you just can walk around. Takes you about, what do you think, Dave, like 25 minutes to probably a half hour to really take advantage of all the amenities that these guys have lined up for this 2026 Nationals here. I love all the courtside boxes, scorekeeping. I can run into a stand and all of a sudden look up and see what the score is.
There are TV monitors all over, a lot of food this morning, a lot of coffee stations all throughout. I mean, there's VIP areas, there's player lounges, there's fitness with the infrared therapy.
Yeah,
it's quite an event. It's quite an event, and as I've said earlier on today, I'm not trying to get people to not listen to us, but you really have to come down to appreciate it and be a part of it.
Skinletics, do you know whose company that is?
I don't.
Name the national champion whose daughter won more national titles than anyone, whose son-in-law started the company Skinletics.
Corey Delaney.
Well, it would be Bobo.
Bobo, all right.
Bobo birthed Corey.
Okay.
Not the reverse.
Listen, these questions are getting trickier.
I mean, these are trickier as the day goes on.
All right, Patty, we're going to have a special guest commentator for a little while.
Like 1 minute, Dave.
Co-chairman of the tournament and made it to the second round, Blake Anderson, former junior national champion. Blake, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So far, how's from a operation standpoint, how's the Nationals going? Is it going according to plan? Everyone happy with everything?
Everything going according to plan. I think the biggest thing for us this morning was just we're going to hit play and we're going to go. All the hard work the committee put in, it's for the weekend now, and any big changes that we may have to make, hopefully we don't, but everything seems to be going great. The crowd out there has been amazing.
Yeah, we used to say that
stadium courts. It was great.
We used to say that, when we were involved with the Short Hills Invitational, that, once you start the ride, once you start the roller coaster, you can't really, you have to wait till it finishes. You just got to hang on and deal with things as they happen.
Exactly. And you know what? Again, I'm not sure if you guys have said this, but I want to give a huge shout out to the Canoebrook facility and staff. They knocked us out of the park when we met 15 months ago. This was a prime location of ours to choose from, and I'm glad how things look now. And we got some good weather, and I think that's a huge part of, these paddle tournaments. And, it seems like everyone's having a great time out there today.
Blake, what time are the finals scheduled for on Sunday morning?
So the finals have a TBD time due to potential weather and sun, but we will announce something on Saturday before we inform all the players. But tomorrow we've got our quarterfinals and semifinals, women followed by the men, and it should be a really good time. So we hope to get everybody out there, and once again we urge everybody to Uber to the club. Parking is reserved for our VIPs and our players, so if you plan on coming by, grab an Uber. Discount code on our website, APTA Nationals 2026.
And Blake, is it true that the first 100 spectators to come through the gates will receive a complimentary T-shirt?
Yes, and I believe there is another little giveaway on Sunday by Jessica Owens in Chatham. I'm not quite sure what the giveaway is, but yeah, we got a couple giveaways. We got a great raffle in the tent. So again, if you're here, enter the raffle. We got a ton of fan engagement going on here this weekend, and couldn't be happier with how the day's gone so far.
All right, well, thank you very much, and kudos to you and the rest of the committee for knocking it out of the ballpark so far, and we only look for it to get better.
Thank you.
It's great hearing from our former junior national champion. And he took Powers and Nunez 2-3 sets with Martin
6-4 in the
Bostrom.
third.
Yeah, great showing for Blake Anderson. Really tough to play and run an event at the same time. Dave, Nunez Powers up 6-5 in their match with a set point against Murphy Schneider, as you can see. A couple of set points. This is the thing. You see all these guys, and then it becomes Powers time or Nunez time. I just think the special players in our sport, can go through a set, but they know how to step it up in the moment of truth. And I've seen Powers and Nunez do that so many times.
And again, I've said this before, after the Montclair tournament, I had a conversation with Guillermo Nunez, and, he said, there's a time to play and then there's a time to win. And you see the top teams that as it gets tighter and tighter, they figure out the ways to win. And again, these are all great matches. Again, like you said, this match potentially could be Nunez Powers winning the first set 7-5. In the other match we were watching, Benheim and Friedrich, they won their first set 7-5. So, things are getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and the play is getting better and better week in and week out, and it's good to see that the quality as much as the participation continues to grow.
Dave Rigoletto Salazar, tournament number 1 seeds up 2-1 on Fraser West in their 16s. Your little brother, tied 4-all first set.
All right, so they were up
Pardo.
4-2. Yeah, they were up 4-2. So,
Dave, were you wondering how I know all of this while I'm sitting here next to you in the media room here? Canubra Country Club?
No, but I would love for you to share with me so everybody out there can.
Oh, Dave,
Have
all
all
you
the
need to
scores.
do is go to courtdirector.com. It just has all the scores, and it just keeps everything up to date. So it allows us to kind of sound like we know what we're doing, and we have a screen on every match. We really don't, but we follow the action.
Patty, we see there Grigorovich and Stojic taking down Lofgren and Ong 6-1, 6-0 in
Crushed them.
the first completed round of 16 match.
Yeah, Grigorovich and the Stojic are tournament number 4 seed, Dave. Those guys are so talented. Unfortunately, they've played a lot. They meet up in there a lot of semis. I mean, they've had a great year, but not as great as Rigolo Salazar, and that seems to be who they bump into in the quarters.
I was going to say every semifinal that
Every semifinal. So
we talked about this. I was talking about this with someone, and they can't seem to move up to get away from Rigolo Salazar. Should they maybe move down? in
you
the
told me
rankings?
that. You told me that theory, David.
Maybe-
You mean they
maybe
should
should
take
they-
a loss?
Right? Should they drop down to number 6 or 7 so they don't have to run into them in the semifinal?
I don't know about that advice, Dave. Hansen, Taylor, 6-4, first set over Johan Durant and Philippe Rams. Durant and Rams are up 2-1 in that second set. Benheim Friedrich pulled out that first set against Coutinho and Vauclair 7-5, and we're at 2-all in that match. And I love this. Murphy Schneider, they are so skilled, Dave. And they're another team that seems to, they've got every shot. They've got it. But, they've just got to make the next step. And that's the hardest thing to do in this sport. You can kind of bank. You see them in the draw, and you can bank on them getting to the, and in a regular tour event, you can bank on them easily getting to the quarters.
No, absolutely.
I mean,
And-
that's how good they are.
It just kind of made me think where, Patty, how many teams are there out there that if 4 of the top teams decide that they're going to, take up a new hobby or retire, there are teams out there that can fill in those spots. As we see a pretty impressive.
Dave, and elaborate on that just for a second, if you would.
To your point about, we're watching this match, if, the Nunez Powers, the Regalado Salazars, for whatever reason, if they don't sign up for a tournament or they, decide to take a year off.
They decide to let someone else play?
Like you have Murphy and Schneider, they're right there to step up, and the level of play is going to stay high. That's how good and how close the talent level and the results are getting.
Well, we said goodbye to Durant and Stephen Mitchell as a team, and they're a wonderful team, national titleists a couple times. I mean, great team. And you're like, oh no, what are we going to do without Johan and Stephen? Well, there's a Tommy and Tim. There's other guys who all of a sudden, you
Coming
don't
up
even
the
think
ranks.
about it. A Lynn Burroughs who stepped out of the game this year, you don't even think about it. Macy turns around, starts playing with Lalich, and boom. There's so many people who now are able to take the place of those top players in the game. So we as fans, we get the opportunity to just see the best, and the best that the names change, but it's just going to be different players, but the talent level with these former collegiate stars, former professional tennis players, it's just kind of remarkable. And
I think we miss all of those players as paddle players, or
We miss them,
as
yes.
people.
yes,
But as paddle players, we have people stepping up to kind of fill the void that they've created by not playing. But, we certainly miss the people that aren't playing.
Right.
And it's, again, we're always sad and upset when we lose great people from, that aren't as involved in the paddle community as they once were.
Dave, I
You
think
wanna
we're gonna
take a
jump
look?
over. And speaking about
It's like House of Pain. Let's jump around.
Let's jump around. There's Johan Durant without Stephen Mitchell, but he's got Philippe Rhymes running back there on the at court in the gray T-shirt, I think, and that's Johan in the deuce court near side. The lefty overhead, Dan Hansen, and then that's Alex Taylor over there who just hit that roller overhead. There's the lefty, Dan Hansen. Love watching Dan. I mean, he's got every shot in the book. I love watching about Dan Davis, how much fun he has. He really, he's a great competitor, and he enjoys it. You know, all these guys enjoy playing. I'm not saying that. I just think you can kind of see it on Dan. He has a lot of fun out there.
Patty, I often say no matter what level of play it is, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? You know, obviously everybody wants to win, but you have to love it. You have to be competitive, and most importantly, you have to have fun.
Yeah, so Durant and Rams are up 3-2 in the second set. Round of 16, Nationals, Canubra Country Club, Summit, New Jersey. I mean, Dave, what a treat. And I love that you love reading the sponsor reads, Dave.
Well, Patty, this is to benefit you because you said you want to take up over the summer ice hockey.
I do.
So Pure Hockey, with cutting-edge fitting technology and the widest selection of hockey gear, Pure Hockey is the ultimate destination for players of all levels and the industry leader in hockey retail. So, Patty, if you need new skates, a stick, gloves, check out Pure Hockey.
Maybe I should go to Pittsburgh and get some tutoring.
I think you know a pretty good hockey player out of Pittsburgh.
What position do you think I should play, Dave?
I could see you being pretty quick, so I would say center.
Ooh.
So you zip all the way around the court, the ice.
Yeah, I'd have to zip so I wouldn't get hit. Dave, a couple updates on some other matches in the Bentheim-Friedrich won that first set against Coutinho Vauclair 7-5, and they are up 3-2 in the second set. Nunes Powers 7-5 over Murphy Schneider. We saw that. Grigorovich Ostojic, really strong win over Lofgren on 1-0 in their 16s. Regalado Salazar up 3-1 on Tyler Fraser and Eric West. And Broderick and Christian up 5-4 on Dobic and Pardo. What's so fun here, Dave? Oh, I left one round of 16 out. Leon and Moyo are up 4-1 on Burris and Erdoya, former national champions, in their round of 16s match. Dave, New Jersey's Burris and Erdoya. What year did they make it to the finals of nationals?
2021.
And what year did they win it?
2022.
Who'd they beat?
They took down the great team of Mark Powers and John Hughes. They just needed a year of practice, Patty. I'm a big believer in platform tennis. You got to get used to it.
Dave, there's 3 national tournaments being held and hosted out of the Canubra Country Club, Summit, New Jersey. I need to give a shout out to the entire staff. Everyone at Canubra is remarkable to work with, and they help execute the events. I have nothing to do with running this nationals. I have a lot to do with juniors, with Greg Morgan, team nationals with Greg Morgan, a lot of pros chipping in. But I got to say, working here and being able to working with the Canubrook employees, they make us all look good because they all step up to the plate. They were so pumped. The last couple of weeks, they were just so pumped for this nationals run that Canubrook was, getting to be a part of, and they just relish being the host club for this site. And it's really the campus that they set up here for nationals. what they did for junior nationals. Dave, you handled all the commentating masterfully, of course, with Russell Bentheim, and James Broderick was your
Special guest.
your special guest, Drew's son. But I just can't say enough about Albert, Kimberly, everybody, and I just think that's the part of what makes this so special. And you know, a lot of people say, Dave, how come you run so many events? Because you have fun doing it, and if you get the support from, you know, behind the scenes,
it makes it so much easier.
It makes it so much easier, and it makes you have fun. And you love running tournaments. I love running tournaments. But I love running tournaments the most out of Canoe because of the support that you get out of here. And I love that your little brother Drew has a willingness to run so many events, and you know, for so many different levels of play. It really is helping the sport grow.
Yeah, I talked last night at the Hall of Fame dinner. I had an opportunity to talk with Canoe Country Club president Jim O'Neill, who I've known for many years, and great guy, great advocate of platform tennis player himself. And, you know, I told him, not that I was directly involved with dealing with Canoe for any of the events, but I've heard nothing but positive things from every person that I've spoken to or that has talked to me about dealing and organizing here at Canoe that, again, Albert and his staff did an amazing job, and you know, they not only wanted to host them, but they wanted to make them special.
Yeah, they hit it out of the park. And you know, whether it's paddle tournaments, weddings, Dave, anything, Canoe Country Club, wonderful host for all of these events. They have the capacity to really blow it out of the park with everything that they can offer here. And I mean, I love their staff, Dave. They treat us so well, and it's just part of what makes any event at Canoe Country Club special. And Dave, the other thing that makes it special is the membership here at Canoe. So devoted to Drew. Drew is so devoted to them. And, you know, I've gotten to know them over the years, as have you. We've been lucky to be on the court with lots of these ladies and men, and you know, they're great. And the willingness for them to step up and be a major role here, and all the volunteers for nationals, I just can't say enough about how important that is, how critical it is, and how much it means to your brother Drew, Canoe amazing director of rackets. So Dave, critical moment 3-all here for Durant and Roms. I mean, this would be a breakthrough win for Hansen Taylor, wouldn't you think, if they could overtake the mighty Johan Durant?
I was thinking about that earlier, where, you know, that would be a really
and the amazing
nice
Philippe
win.
Rams.
No, I think it would be a really good win. And, you know, again, I think we talked about it a little bit of fortune there. Fortuitous bounce over the net for Johan Durant. Going back to my St. Peter's Prep Latin days, Patty.
Yeah.
If he does it again, I believe it would be fortuitous.
Wait, Dave, 1 second. Trivia question. Who's the Hall of Famer, besides Drew Broderick, who went to St. Peter's Prep?
Ooh, it's my name man, Dave Omuller.
Yeah, Dave. Oh, we loved seeing you last night, Dave.
Yep, it was. We were telling everyone that the last time we probably were eating together was probably in Lincoln Park from McDonald's during one of our tennis team practices when we should have been practicing tennis.
Well,
So-
Dave-O, you know, not only a great paddle player, he's just a force, and it's wonderful to watch him as he's on his journey post his paddle career, and to see him so happy. His significant other, Tammy, is great, and just so fun for them to be a part of last night's induction for your little brother. I hear Jenna Ohlmuller's going to be here tomorrow, Dave, former APTA executive director.
Yes, David did
His
say
mom.
that. You know, last night when we were driving home, I said that to, you know, my car full of passengers.
Going back to the country?
We're going back to the country, going back to the woods. I said that. I said, you know what? I wish this dinner was 2 nights because there were so many people that I haven't seen in a while, and so many people I was excited to see that I unfortunately didn't get a chance to spend enough time talking with each and every one of them.
Dave, that's exactly how I felt. I went home last night. I was on such a high. It was so fun. It was such a great night. Celebrating Drew and celebrating Jared Palmer. How great is Jared Palmer? Came over from tennis. I mean, I just love watching those guys play. And Jared Palmer, what a class act. And his induction into the Platform Tennis Hall of Fame. Nothing routine about it. He was so gracious in his acceptance and expressing the importance of the platform tennis, national titles to him and the community of platform tennis, where he just appeared on the scene. Everyone loved Jared. What a great guy and such a talented player. And he was really part of helping change the game of platform tennis.
And I think something that everyone could take a page out of Jared's book is, the guy was the #1 doubles player in the world. But what made him so good at platform tennis was his willingness to learn and improve and take advice from other people. And, that's a special quality that not everyone has.
Dave, that's a great point. And you spew a lot of goodness. Not everyone listens to you, Dave. But Jared listened.
Sometimes I wouldn't listen to me either, Patty.
Now, Jared was introduced to the game up in Rowayton, and I love Mark Parsons. Did a wonderful job. Mark Parsons, one of our game's greatest players as well, in my opinion, ever. And I'm gonna talk for 1 second, Dave, because everyone talks about the GOAT, Johan Durant. Patty Hogan doesn't say that because I have such an appreciation, and maybe it's because I'm older than you, Dave, and I've been around this sport for a long time, and I watch these great players. I had the opportunity to play against Rich Mayer mixed nationals a couple times in the finals. I mean,
it's great to see Rich is still around today.
You could argue that Rich Mayer is the greatest of all time. You could argue that Drew's the greatest of all time. You could argue Steve Baird's the greatest of all time. There's so many guys in their generation who kind of dominated play and just had that consistency at the highest level. They always delivered it. So, it's as the game transitioned to a transition game, the athleticism that Johan brought to the table definitely is part of changing the game. But I just want to acknowledge and show respect for, Baird Mayer. I was lucky when I came into the sport, was at the tail end of their career. I remember Greg Moore and Hank Irvine. There were so many great combinations, and I just loved watching them play. And Johan certainly, winning with three different partners, winning a national
Pretty
title.
special.
I'm a big fan of players who can adapt their games to different partners and figure out your strengths as a team and win. And
Patty, how about and somebody that we were previously talking about, when we talk about changing the game, is it safe to say when I first started, Dave Omuller was kind of maybe the first person to bring in a little bit more tennis into platform tennis when I first started, and all I heard about was this guy, Dave Omuller, who, used to rip two-handed backhands out of the ad side of the court off the backside screen. And I said, who? I know this guy, Dave Omuller. He doesn't do that. And, so he was kind of a pioneer in the platform tennis game as well, with adding more elements of offense and elements of tennis into the game. So, again, he's another one where I know whether you put him, which he should be put in the greatest of all time game.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Whether he comes in first, second, or third in that category, he still is one of the pioneers of platform tennis and moved it forward and changed it.
He definitely, helped push the game forward. Think about Manzinger and Goodspeed. How good were they as a team? they just went out there winning. And one of my favorite stories, always loved Flip and Scott. Flip, I loved his playing style. A little bit scrappy, wasn't a power hitter, understood the situation. He was just money, and he banked on a sequence of shots and could capitalize, and just a phenomenal paddle mind, in my opinion. And Mansinger, I mean, who practices for rainy conditions? In a way, Scott Mansinger used to take a garden hose and
wet the court.
So
That's dedication.
That's dedication, so that he could practice his return to service. So,
That's dedication and vision.
Exactly. So that's why I struggle with the GOAT. I mean, I think Johan's fabulous, but I think there's so many players in our game who, in their time, were extraordinary. And Baird-Mayer, just what a run. Goodspeed and Mansinger, what a run. You look at national champions, Brian Uihlein in the Hall of Fame. I mean, what a talent. Chris Gambino, one of Drew's former partners. Did they have an undefeated season, Dave?
They did. As well as Drew and Jared Palmer had an undefeated
I know.
season.
I think I left that out of my induction last night. I think I left that page on the counter.
Patty, how many players in the history of platform tennis have had undefeated seasons?
I don't know. How many teams on the women's side have done that, Dave?
You're going to have to answer that question.
No, you're going to have to answer that question. I'm going to go with Prendergast Hogan.
All right, well, there you go. Well, I
We
appreciate you.
had a 6-year run. We had a great year. And the year we won nationals, we somehow figured out how to never to lose a match. It came close to nationals in the 16s. Lovejoy and Shaw almost took us out. Won the first set. Team from Connecticut, great competitors. Took us a while to figure it out, but we got through that. And I mean, I'm just saying, to go undefeated, pretty remarkable.
Anything to go
And-
undefeated is remarkable. Patty, you want to maybe jump into another match? Maybe see what else is going around on
Sure,
the grounds
Dave.
here at the Canubra Country Club?
Yeah, we're going to leave this with Hanson Taylor in command of this match, 6-4, 5-3. Kudos to Hanson and Taylor. Like, they're just bringing it. They're bringing it here. And they don't care that Johan's considered one of the GOATs of all time. They came out here to play this match, and beautiful execution from them, and they're up 5-3 second set. Dave, we're going to, oh, boy, we've missed a lot, Dave.
All right, here we are in the third set of Bentheim Friedrich taking on Catino and Vauclair.
And I expected this to go 3. Ralph and Louie, extraordinary talent. They've all got talent.
And again,
It's almost impossible for these matches not to go 3 sets
Right.
sometimes, Dave. Ooh.
and you have the 7-10 seed. They're, even in the points race, they're tight. They're, it might be a couple of points separating them. So, yeah, no, it's, again, if you're in the Summit, New Jersey area, if you're not, try to get over here because the action's heating up. But there you can see another example of the shot making of Russell Bentheim, just cutting that volley off and ending the point. All right, Bentheim Friedrich with a point to knot this up at 1-all here in the third set.
Dave, name the guy who's won more national titles than anyone.
That would have to be
Open
Short
national
Hills
play.
Club own Steve Baird.
Steve won the 1976 Nationals
He
with
won
his
with
brother
his brother Chip, right?
He won with his brother Chip.
That gives him the edge over Richie Mayer.
It gives him a slight edge over Richie Mayer. Actually, Richie may have tied it up because after they played, I think Richie played one more year with someone else. I'm not sure, but I seem to remember that, but I could be wrong. I mean, let's talk about the great players from Jersey Paddle, Dave. I mean, we would be remiss, and I wish I could have gone into it last night in my speech for Drew's induction, but let's just go with the great New Jersey teams and players, and let's give them a shout out right now, Dave. DeRose and Lubau. Your turn. I'll go. Kelsey Allmuller. Your turn.
Hank Irvine, Greg Moore. Peter Grunberg, Artie Williams.
You go, Dave. Keep going. You're on a run.
Who else do we have? Bobo Delaney, Sarah Krieger.
Nice. Who's the last New Jersey men's team to win nationals?
Drew Broderick, Chris Gambino.
Yeah, I figured you would have that at the ready, Dave.
That was the first of Drew's 4 titles. Patty, but it just popped up, and I got the most amazing picture sent to me. And we have to say hello to Cody Fay, who is literally standing in front of his TV watching the live action from Telluride.
Right.
You know, we mentioned Eric before, former New Jersey resident via Chicago. He spent many years in New Jersey, and each day we miss having him. I was good friends with Eric. I like Eric a lot, and
he's a good man. He's a good man, Charlie Brown.
Absolutely, and him sending the picture of his son literally right on top of the TV, checking out the action.
Can we see his picture?
I had to talk about it.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Dave, Durant, Rons are out. Hanson, Taylor.
Congratulations.
Big win. Wow. That's a huge win for Dan Hanson and Alex Taylor. 6'4", 6'3", over the amazingly talented Johan Durant and Philippe Rams. 4-3.
Another big overhead there by Gabe Friedrich.
Dave, let's just take a quick check-in on the Murphy, Schneider, Nunez Powers. I mean, I'm glad we came back to this because I knew Murphy, Schneider were not going to go down without a fight here. They lost that their first set 7-5, down 4-3 here. These guys are competitors. I love watching Murphy and Schneider play because they play every point, Dave. They never take a point off. And Schneider, the guy's the real deal, Dave. I'd love to see Murphy Schneider play a full slate on the APTA Tour. I think when you jump in and out and you don't play that many events together, it's really hard to be competitive at a certain point in these APTA Tour events. Ronnie Schneider doesn't play that many events outside of Chicago, but maybe we can talk him into it.
And Patty, I still think Ronnie Schneider, every time I watch him, he's getting better. he hasn't peaked. I think, his skills, he's got the skills. He's starting to put it together, week in and week out. And, it's fun to see. Not only is it's fun to see new players up and coming and continue to improve to, push everyone that's out there. It's what's going to allow our game to keep growing.
Dave, update our tournament number 1 seeded team of Alvi Regalado and Jose Salazar. Just continue. They've got the machine going here coming into nationals. They took out Tyler Fraser, Eric West 6-1 in the first set of that round of 16 match. I'm not getting an update. I'm really curious about Burris and Erdoya. Last thing I heard, Leon and Moya were up 4-1 in that match in the first set. Dave, interesting. Garcia Nieto, Jason Quintana. First set win over 6-3 over Morgan and McNerney, are defending men's national champions. But McNerney and Morgan, who seem to be getting off to slow starts, losing some first sets, and grinding it out over 3 and getting the win. So we'll see.
Patty, and that's
we'll see if Morgan and McNerney follow that pattern here.
Patty, that's a rematch from the Short Hills Invitational, which Quintana
Garcia Nieto pulled it out.
They pulled it out. They were victorious.
But it was an injury. McNerney was hurt. He rolled his ankle and probably should have taken a pass on the Short Hills event. I don't want to take anything away from the win for Garcia Nieto and Quintana, but McNerney was hurt.
What a shot there out of the corner by Tom Murphy.
Dave, and I just think a team like Murphy Schneider is at a slight disadvantage in that they don't get to see Nunez Powers on a regular basis. And I think with Regalado Salazar, Nunez Powers being here in the Northeast, slight disadvantage for some of the teams in other regions in the country, in that they don't get that many looks at these guys.
They don't get to see it. They don't get to see it. And, I think it might be different in a lot of other sports, but I think in paddle, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. It's a big thing. And Schneider and Murphy, they're a great team. And, could they have won nationals, Dave, at some point? Murphy and Schneider in an earlier time. I'm just saying, I think they're really
they have
good.
The ability.
They have the ability. I'm just saying, that's how good they are. And I don't think you always get an appreciation for how good these teams are. But it just shows the difference between really good teams and great teams.
Well,
and Nunez Powers are a great team.
Patty, it goes back to what you said earlier. For all the national championships that Richie Mayer and Steve Baird won in a row. I mean, if they never played platform tennis, just think about how many other people could have won national events. There's probably a logjam of teams that were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Dave, I think that's a good point, especially for someone like me who played like Cindy Prendergrass. We had a great 6-year run, and I think we had a great 6-year run because we made the national finals 6 years in a row. We only won 1, but everyone we lost to people who are in the Hall of Fame. We didn't lose, we got beaten. And sometimes you just get out there, you put all the cards on the table, and the other team's cards are better that day. So we've got a match point here.
Match point number 1 here for Nunez and Powers. as in the background we're starting to hear the Jersey crowd come alive.
Jersey crowd, I mean, they're coming alive today, and wait till tomorrow out here. It's going to be an amazing day at Canoe Country Club. Like Dave mentioned earlier, Uber over here, Lyft over here. It's going to be an amazing day. So many amenities.
People can ride their bike over here.
They can ride their bike.
Just get over here.
Just get here. Because once you get here, you're never going to want to leave. It's so great.
This is like Platform Tennis Disney World right here.
And Dave, that's a great description.
What a pinpoint accurate lob by Nunez.
That was a sick lob.
I think that's one there where Ronnie Schneider was hoping that it was going wide.
He was praying.
Yeah.
He was inhaling to try to bring that ball out.
All right, and they hang around to see another game.
That was a great rip. And, you know, it's fun to watch. I don't get to watch Schneider and Murphy that much, Dave. They're really a fun team to watch play. They have a lot of weapons.
But Patty, having said that, do you want to check in with Bentheim, Friedrich, and Coutinho and Vauclair?
Dave, anything you want, I will deliver. And there you have it. The magic of technology. Thanks to Jake Koretsky.
And APTA, Wire2Wire.
Wire2Wire. Bentheim, Friedrich. Up 3-1, third set. Bentheim's one of the few, Friedrich's one of the few guys, Dave, you just saw with that sidearm serve. What's happened to that in our sport? You know,
I think less and less people are using it.
Why are fewer pros using it? That's what I want to know. You know, we saw,
I think,
3 years ago you turned on the live
than it
stream.
looks. I think in order for it to be effective, you know, you really have to put a lot of spin on the ball, hit it with the right amount of pace to keep it low. But, you know, I just don't think it's as comfortable and easy as everybody thought it may be. You know, I think at the end of the day, when you look at all the great players, it comes down to what works, what doesn't work. If you wrestle there, I don't think you get too excited about that. I think, you know, you missed the shot. I think it was the right shot. You know, maybe he just went for a little bit too fine of a shot because of the speed of Coutinho and Vauclair, but I think that was the right shot. It was there for the taking.
I think it was the right shot. I think it was the wrong response. I don't think he should bash a ball personally, Dave, because I think he's got to keep it even emotionally. He's a rising player in a game. He is a star. He's got every shot in the book, but he's got to manage his shot selection and manage the mental side of the game. Dave, how about a read from one of our sponsors here?
Absolutely, Patty. Land Rover. Today's event is proudly sponsored by Land Rover Parsippany. Experience exceptional service and luxury performance. Visit LandRoverParsippany.com.
Oh man, my courtesy car from Land Rover is over the top. I was bummed I couldn't open the sunroof this morning. There's a little bit of drizzle. I didn't really want to ruin that interior. It's so plush. But it's great. Love driving those cars.
Now, are you taking advantage of the heated and air-conditioned seats?
You bet, Dave. For my aging back, I really appreciated those heated seats. Dave, how about Joho doing a great job with his nationals, and I love that the APTA has the opportunity to showcase all these games, top players, rising stars, by being able to show every round of 16 on the women's and men's, on the men's side of the draw. pretty great achievement. Mark Ennis has done a wonderful job heading up Joe-Ho this year, and his company is the one responsible for those great posts on social media and really doing a great job, I think, of sharing the platform tennis community and the successes of our community out there to the general public. And we are passionate about the game of platform tennis, and it is spreading, growing, and I love how Joe-Ho's contributing to that big time with really great posts that are engaging for people out there and makes them curious enough to just kind of click that link and tune in, and maybe you get to listen to the Mike Raleigh on the stream, something like that. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, no, we've been live streaming 8 courts all day here from Canoe at the 2026 APTA National Championship.
Dave, we have an update. Did you know your brother won the first set 6-4? He's down 3-2. Dobik, Pardo, we talked about Johan, one of the greatest of all time. Talked about Drew, one of the greatest of all time. Talked about all these other phenomenal players who I would put in the greatest of all time category. I think I struggle with GOAT because I've got so many GOATs in this sport. I just don't want to leave anybody out because I think in everybody's time they were remarkable, and I feel like Baird and Mayer, Goodspeed, Mansinger, you put them in a different generation, I don't care. I think they would be great.
Patty, maybe in the off season you can come out with your list of herd of goats.
Well, once I master ice hockey, I'm going to go and work on that, Dave. Shout out to Dirk Douglas and Maidfor, one of our sponsors, doing a great job here. They have great gear. If you come over, you can get some Nationals gear made especially for you.
Patty, I'm telling you.
Maidfor.
Patty, I'm excited to try it out.
Dave, what are you made for, Dave?
If it helps my movement, I need help with my movement. If it makes me move better, I might go full bodysuit and made for.
I mean, exactly. No, one of our amazing sponsors for this event, and all of these people are making this event. I mean, this feels like the U.S. Open. I mean, I don't need to go to Flushing Meadows anymore. I can just come here, go out in the tent. I can go booth to booth. I can't wait for my signature blue sweatshirt made for with the Jersey Nationals logo, Dave. I ordered one today. If you go out there and go to the hospitality booth, they can custom size you, Dave.
Well, Patty, when was the last time you saw a vendor making product on site?
I mean, it's just another amenity.
I'd like to order it and pick it up in, 2 weeks from now. No, they're making it. We're watching them make it.
We're watching the press out here. People go outside. You can come over here, order any style of shirt you want, and Made For Us got the press in here, so we get to watch them up close and personal, producing the product that you can get. And you got to get that item, Dave. I mean, I don't think you can leave the Jersey Nationals without the Jersey crest on your left chest, Dave, on something.
I asked if I could lay on the press and maybe they could put a logo on my upper left shoulder.
Shout out to the Birchnells, enjoying the action as always. My longest running volunteers for Junior Nationals. They did a great job as always. John and Ellen, love you guys. You're amazing. And we appreciate your support. They're wondering how old your little brother Drew is.
How old is he?
Are we allowed to admit how old Drew is?
I'm just wondering if they're really trying to figure out how old I am. Now that you told
They're not doing them.
I'm 6 years older than him.
Dave, this is not about you. This is about Drew. How old is Drew?
Drew is 48.
Yeah, I knew that. But it's quite remarkable. Drew's journey as a top player going into 3 decades and how he sustains that level. I mean, it's quite remarkable and so fun. And the fact that Drew's out here, Drew and Tomas, let's get an update on their match, Dave. Thanks to Court Director, provides live stats of every match going on here in the 16s at the 2026 National Championships. I mean, Broderick Christian getting that win in the first set, 6-4 over Dobic Pardo. Talk about a contrast in style. You have this explosiveness, Dobic and Pardo, and you've got the discipline, Christian and Broderick, and they're just willing to grind it out. Now, as I said last night in Drew's induction, I mean, Drew just had the capacity to break you down. He broke you down physically, and he broke you down mentally, and that's why that's a fascinating matchup. One of the fascinating matchups here in the round of 16s. Break a lot of
talked to a couple of people about that match. You know, that was one of my matches in the round of 16 to watch because, you know, Dobic and Pardo de Andrade have gotten the better of Tomas and Drew early in the season, you know, and
but it's nationals.
It's the nationals, and it's a different animal. The pressure's different. It means more.
So stop right there, Dave. That's what makes nationals unique. It is different than any other tour event, and the pressure just builds throughout the season. And then you come down to this moment where you know you lose, you're done for the season. And that puts a whole different set of pressures on you as a player and as a team. And that's why there's certain players who thrive and rise at nationals every year. And that's one of the reasons your brother's a pretty remarkable player in our sport.
Patty, you see the crowd out there gathering. It's getting packed here at Canubra Country Club. We have Russell Bentheim and Gabe Friedrich, one game away from advancing to the quarterfinals. Right, Patty, we have women starting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for their quarterfinals. I believe the men will go out after that, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's just do a quick check, Dave. Let's swing over here for 1 second. Maybe not. Did you block my movie? We have computer knowledge, and Dave's knowledge may have just exceeded mine. We have this great software program thanks to Jay Koretsky and SBL Labs and Streambox Labs, and I thought I was switching chords for a second with Bentheim Friedrich in control of this match. Dave, I'm going to try one more time. All right. We're back to Murphy Schneider, Nunes, Powers. Look at this. 7-5 Nunes Powers, and then 6-5 Murphy Schneider. That's what we said. These guys are the real deal, and I just think if they played on the tour full time, Dave, they'd be right there. They have that much talent.
No, they can definitely get it done.
Wow. Return serve error from Powers. Send this thing into a tiebreaker in the second set. Dave, this was a brilliant move that you decided to come over here and join this match. And Murphy Schneider right in it against former national champs Nunes and Powers and our tournament's number 2 seed team.
Yeah, Patty, women's quarter start tomorrow morning, 10 a.m.
What are the quarters, Dave? Do you have that in front of you or not right now? I'll ask you in a little bit.
I don't have the draw. I have the schedule.
Schedule doesn't do jack for me, Dave. Do you have the draw?
I don't have the draw.
All right, let me see if I can find it. But how great for Hanson Taylor for them to pull out that win against Johan Durant and Philippe Rams. Really solid effort. I'm happy for them in that win. Dan Hansen is a grinder, Dave. He's played with a lot of different partners, and he's got a brilliance about him, and I'm happy for him that he hooked up with Alex here, and they've had success and are in the quarters of nationals.
And you like to see that. Like you said, Dan Hansen, week in and week out, you always see his name in the draw. You know, maybe with different people, different partners, but, you know, he's in it week in and week out. So you're happy for guys like Dan Hansen to see, you know, getting the results at this stage of the season.
Hey, Dave. Do you remember Henry Birchnow and John Donnelly, Junior Nats, a million years ago when you and I ran the show?
I do. I absolutely do.
I think they're both watching.
Well,
Henry's up in Concord. And John Donnelly had a big win for his team last weekend. I know where they clinched a division title. His proud mom, Kathy, sent me a picture. Henry and John were former Junior Nats champs, 12 and unders, I believe. And I love that they're staying in the game, and that's... Dave, why is it important for juniors to play? Because they become seniors.
That's it. They stay in the game.
They stay in the game, and you know that's a great thing. And if you want to figure out how to get junior programs going in your neck of the woods, reach out to the APTA. They'll connect you with maybe Greg Morgan, who represents the APTA board. Maybe they'll connect you with Dave Broderick, maybe with Patty Hogan, but they'll connect you with someone who can give you a roadmap on how to build junior paddle in your part of the woods. David, is so fun calling paddle matches with you. I mean, your curiosity about the rise, about everything going on around us, never ceases to amaze me and amuse me, actually.
Patty, I'm aware of my surroundings. All right, Murphy Schneider here with a little bit of up a mini break here in the second set of their round of 16 paddle with second seed Guillermo Nunez and Mark Powers.
Chicago is cheering. They're up in the stands. The Bears didn't do as well as they would have liked, but how about this? What a great battle here. Murphy and Schneider are putting up against our tournament number 2 seeded team, Nunez and Powers. Dave, it's amazing. Nunez and Powers are so good, but they're struggling a little bit in the nationals here. Do you think it's possible that they could feel pressure? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking you that question.
I mean, I think it's normal that, of course, they should feel pressure. You'd be kind of concerned if they didn't feel pressure. You know, and again, it's just that Murphy and Schneider are that good of players that there's very little bit of separation. And again, that's the overhead I love from Nunez that we've watched him sort of expand on this season, where he kind of hits it across his body, cross court, into that back screen low, and it just gives players fits. We've watched it all year long.
Hey, Dave. Morgan McNerney. Remember they lost that first set a little while ago, 6-3 to Garcia, Nieto, and Quintana?
Did they win the second?
They just won the second set 6-2. Remember your little brother who won that first set 6-4? He's down 5-2, second set.
All right, so.
Ursa, Doyle, Leon, Moyo, I'd love an update on that. It's not coming through yet. and Benkai Friedrich 5-4 with Cotano and Vauclair in that match, Dave.
It was just 5-2.
So I think maybe we should switch back to that match just for a little bit. This match has a little... I won't switch yet, Dave. I know this tiebreaker has you on the edge of your seat, so we'll stick with it.
Can we send Karen Najedlik out there and tell all the courts to stop playing such tight, close matches, or at least pause so that we can watch matches completely?
I know, it's hard to
right now
decide.
they work too good to switch from.
It's great, and APTA's Wire2Wire, where we get to go 3 matches, Dave, and we just go court to court. Just watching the game's best players out here battling it out. Every match is so fun to watch. It's hard to pick. You know, Dave, one of the things about Nationals, getting deep in the draw and trying to get deep, playing through these matches, the emotional component is huge.
Yeah.
And you can't undervalue that, and that's why it is so hard to get to a final of the APTA Nationals. And the people who do it over and over, you know, it's amazing, and it's their mindset. Hey, Dave, double match point. Actually, the match is over. Your protege, Russell Benkai and Gabe Friedrich, have advanced to the quarters of Nationals. 6-4 third set win over Cotano and Vauclair. They won that match 7-5, lost the second set 3-6, up 6-4. Congrats, Coach Dave. I mean, your players are winning, Dave. That's all I have to say.
No, that's a good win for them.
It's a great win for them.
You know, good to see, especially coming back from an injury. You're not really sure how you're going to respond. So we look forward to seeing them tomorrow morning in their match. Patty, so to go back to your point earlier, what do you think the percentage breakdown is importance of mental and physical abilities?
Ask me that question again, Dave. Because we're at 4-all in the second set tiebreaker here between Murphy Schneider, Nunes Powers. I feel like that's a good question when I have a little more time to answer it. Because you know, Dave, I can't really answer any question with a quick answer. I apologize for that. Regalado Salazar up on Fraser West, 6-1, 5-2, triple match point. Looks like Regalado Salazar are just continuing their run here. The tournament #1 seed. And a big favorite to win their first national title on Sunday.
Patty, we have a lot going on in the media center right now. And this is where you start to see, you know, those national champions really tighten things up as the match gets closer. All right, Patty. Nunes Powers with the first lead here in the second set tiebreaker, 2 points away from finishing off this match with Murphy Schneider, who are putting in a valiant effort.
Dave, our court director guy, Mark, just reported in. I didn't know what happened with the Burr-Sordoya Leon Moyo match. And evidently, Burr-Sordoya, one of them had an injury. And I think Leon and Moyo have advanced into the quarters of nationals. One of our teams that just rose on the tour, those Philly pros from Radley Run and Waynesboro Country Club, have earned a berth, I believe, in the quarterfinals of nationals. Mark Tomford just reported in. He's doing an amazing job with court director, and he set up these scoreboards by the side of every court, so no matter what grandstand you go into, what set of bleachers, you can just join the match and know exactly what the score is. Very cool.
No, pretty amazing. I was out there today, and you know, what's the number one issue when people show up to watch a paddle match? They're not really sure of the score. So the scoreboards on the sides of the court from court director are definitely a step in the right direction.
Regalado Salazar, 6-1, 6-2 win over Eric West, Tyler Fraser. Cincinnati's great team. Didn't see much of West this year. Kind of wish they had teamed up and played more tour events, Dave, but...
Eric West, another amazing player.
But you know, they got
Love to see
little
more of him in the
kids.
future.
Congrats to both of those guys with they've both got young kids, and tough to get out on tour and make that commitment and leave town for the weekend. But hopefully we don't have too many kids and we get to see them more.
All right, Patty, we're in for a third set here. Murphy Schneider pulling out that second set, 7-6, in a highly contested tiebreaker.
Hey Dave, I'm gonna go dash and grab dinner. What was your order? Shrimp, salmon, filet? I mean, the food was remarkable here at Canoe Brook. I had so many great things. I'm gonna go grab something for us to eat. I think we need court director's very own Mark Tomford to come in here and have a chat in the early going, Dave. What he's doing is amazing, and he wants to share with you some new stats that he wants us to start talking about.
All right, Patty. Mark, welcome.
Thanks, Dave. Good to join you.
Love having you. Very quickly, while we have a little bit of break in the action, why don't you tell us about some of the new technologies and features that we will be able to see going forward with Court Director?
Sure thing. So this year, one of the big enhancements was really finally taking the stats that we're able to gather from all those umpires that are doing great work up in the chair, often, especially this season, freezing their buns off. But they're up there, they're keeping these stats and what's going on, and so we can use that, kind of bring it all together, and be able to let folks that are watching on the Court Director app see the stats in real time as they're actually watching the match on their phone. They just click on the actual match, they can see player profiles, and then all the stats of what's happening in the moment. And then, obviously, I think most folks that have been watching the live stream are able to see those overlays that go on between the sets during the end of the match, where we can kind of analyze what we've been seeing in terms of how they've been trending. But then also, even after the match is over, we're able to go back, and players or anybody that's interested can go back and take a look at what were the stats for those matches that were scored throughout that. And then at the end of the season now, we've started to kind of track aggregate stats throughout the season so that we can start to publish, hey, all right, for every given player, we've been actually tracking, 15 or 20 or 25 matches they've been involved in throughout the season. What does their overall stats look like? What are their serving percentages looking like? How much are they holding in terms of their games, in terms of their points? And we're always interested in trying to find new things.
Well, I don't want to give you more work because it sounds like you've already been putting in a lot of hours with all this new technology. And, I'm a big numbers guy, big analytics guy, so I really appreciate all those stats. So when most people really think I'm just smarter than maybe the rest with my predictions, I'm just doing it based off of your analytics and your statistics. I take the higher number, and that's what I go with, because that usually means that they're going to do pretty well. But I do have one question that I heard, which was an interesting stat on the men's tour. Now that we're playing with the no-ed scoring, has the percentage of breaks and holds changed since we've gone to no-ed scoring? And my example, just for everyone to understand what I'm coming at, is, we always talk about how the server has the advantage. So at deuce, we allow the return team, or we allow the serving team to pick who they're going to serve to, because the returner traditionally has had the advantage. Has there been a change in percentage of holds and breaks since the men's tour has gone to the no-ed scoring?
I wish I had the answer to that, but unfortunately, we didn't have those stats aggregated throughout the season last year to be able to compare it to, which is a real bummer, of course, because I would love to see that. I think anecdotally, there's been a lot of feelings that there's been, folks certainly seeing that, obviously the impact of that no-ad scoring, maybe even changes in the aggressiveness of play that happen, particularly in that no-ad point. The one thing that we are rather confident in is the duration and time of the matches. We've aggregated that through the entire season. And if you compare the men's tour to the women's tour this year, the actual average match length is only different by about 5 minutes, which seems crazy compared to last season, but it's been that impactful, I think.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, the no-ed scoring has definitely made a difference. Mark, while we're here, we want to, say hello to stopping by the Media Center, one of the APTA all-time greats, faces on the tour for many years. You might know him as Timmy Tube Socks. He wears turtleneck socks. He was the national champion in what year? In the 70s. Timmy was big in the 70s, along with his high tube socks. All right, Timmy Mangan, that is, for all of you wondering who we're talking about. One of Guy Moore's best friends, Tim Mangan. We saw Bobo Mark last night at the Hall of Fame dinner. Paddle family for ages. All right, Mark. I'm going to be right back. We're going to bring Patty back into the booth, and thank you for joining me.
Sure thing.
Hey, Mark, here's the issue I have with your court director stats.
Go for it.
My mind never stops thinking, and the more information that you give to me, it's fascinating because I kind of approach the game and watch it a certain way, and then I love looking at your stats, but they make me think about the game differently. And I don't know if you talked about it with Dave, what you're bringing to the table about like the power rankings for, did you get into that with Dave?
We didn't get into that. Well, we did a little bit. I touched on the fact that we are tracking that now with side and server. And yes, I've been trying to use that to start to do some kind of an assessment. Certainly it's an iterative process to get better and better. And the number one thing about anybody who's data oriented is that as soon as you start to monitor and look at data and look at stats, it just makes you want to ask for 10 more things, which is the nature of it. So I love hearing what people suggest we should do different and better.
Well, Mark, I'm intrigued by data and statistics, and I'm a student. I love learning about this, and I think for players, there's so much value for them to be on the live stream, and the fact that the APTA can bring so many matches to the live stream, I think is going to really help push the level of play up for a lot of players. And it used to be the top players were the ones who went through every tournament, and now when you see these upsets in the round of 16s or the quarters, I think a lot of it is because of the live stream and the stats provided in real time by court director. I think it's a huge asset for improvement for players of all levels, and obviously only the great players get to be on the stream every weekend.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and the amount of expansion of the live streaming I think has been fantastic. And I really love it when they're able to score the vast majority of those matches, because it means that we can capture a lot of those stats. It's helpful to the APTA overall. It's helpful to tournament directors and planning. It's very interesting for people that want to see that in their matches. And it's my hope, really, coming up at the end of the season here, to pivot some of that data so that we can also show it by player, so that a player might be able to come in and say, all right, I'm interested in my match history, rather than having to go back and look at an event and look at the match and find the matches they were in, but rather here are my aggregate matches, and maybe even looking at their season as a whole and their partnerships, and be able to kind of aggregate some of that as much as possible. But we would always love to hear ideas of what people would like us to try.
Well, you know, when people talk about what's platform tennis and they've never seen the sport, and they say, oh, it's a chess, it's a chess match. It's like the chess of tennis, and it really is situational, making adjustments all the time. And I think players draw conclusions about their games that aren't always accurate. So I think what you're bringing to the game with Court Director, you can't refute it. It's there. It's the data, and I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's certainly exciting for us to be able to provide that. I love being able to do that and show people, kind of reflect that back. Paddle in particular, I think, anytime you're playing a sport where there is, you're relying upon a partnership or a team, it's always an interesting challenge because it's never in just your hands. It's a combination effort with who you're playing with and how you work together, which is why the stats are like a piece of that puzzle, but they all kind of like add up to be able to give you a picture of your game and how you end up playing together.
Mark, how many years have you been involved with platform tennis?
Well, actually, it was Damien that introduced me to the sport 20 years ago, shortly after he started playing in Stanford. And I really enjoyed it, played a lot, certainly, and then got involved with doing this as kind of a project that I kind of wanted to see come to fruition for that very simple question of, what's the score and why isn't it very visible to all of us? I think just a short time ago before I joined you here, I think you heard you mention the scoreboards around that we're trying to work on this season to hopefully have more and more to that present for people that are at the events, so you don't have to check your phone if you're watching at the event itself. And it's just that simple thing where you want to come around, have a great social atmosphere at these wonderful events that these tournament directors put on, and be able to enjoy, see what's going on, but then be able to check the score and see the meaning of that moment, the meaning of that point, because we can all watch great shots, but if you want to be a spectator, you have to understand the meaning of the point, and that means knowing the score to know, are they taking really big risks? Why? Or is it not? Because they're up 40 love and it's an easy risk to take. But when somebody has great gets or takes really risky shots and they're down or facing a break on their serve or something, that's fascinating to see how the outcome plays out.
Mark, do you have any updates thanks to your software from Court Director on some of the other round of 16 matches?
Sure. Well, it looks like Morgan McNerney are actually up 4-0 in the third set over there. And over in the Broderick Christian match, it looks like in the second set, Dadish and Pardaviandre are up 5-3, 30-15 to Broderick Christian in that next game.
What's your favorite thing about the platform tennis community, Mark? I mean, I don't want to. It's a loaded question, but what's your favorite thing?
Well, it's funny. Like, I didn't know if you were going to say the community or the game, so I'm going to give you an answer to both. I think when it comes to the game, one of the things that's nice about a game like platform tennis, especially the slightly more defensive nature of it, and I'm sure you frequently talk about how people tend to lose points rather than win points in this game. But what I love about that is that there is this sort of chess component to it. There is the setup. The most satisfying point is when you've done all the work to move people around and set up that opening, and whether or not you execute and get it right or not, when you moved and you did that work to get there and then you're able to take advantage of it and try and make that play, that's a lot of fun. That's just great, and I enjoy that. From the community perspective, I just think that it's excellent. It's not uptight. You come to these matches and people enjoy it.
Mark, in my opinion.
It's just incredible. And the people that are actually out there enjoying themselves, they're all enthusiasts. Like, they're all fascinated. They're all just as interested in nerding out about what's going on and who the players are and what's the nature of the points and the games. And so it just makes it a lot of fun to be part of.
Well, you're helping push the game forward with the data that you can contribute to the table, and we're thankful for that. Thanks for coming into the booth, Mark.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting me hang out here for a little while.
All right, Patty. We always love having guests come into the booth, expanding the wealth of knowledge.
Let's go! Come on!
Dave, Morgan McNerney up 5-love in the third set in their round of 16 match against Garcia Nieto and Jason Quintana. And a shout out to Anthony Cosimano today, who's running the Masters events as part of the Nationals. I believe he's hosting the men's 60s and 70s, Dave. So we'll report. We'll give you some updates on that tomorrow. Kudos to Anthony Cosimano and the Indian Trail Club. Indian Trail is an amazing facility. You know, they rival what a Canoe Brook puts on the table, Dave. They
have 10 courts up there, right?
10 courts and just an amazing facility. And Anthony Cosimano changed careers a couple of years ago, Dave, and what a gift that he joined our profession, and he's a great director of platform and pickleball.
He's a great guy.
Well, he, of course, is a great guy. Another one of my former mixed nationals partner. Love playing with Anthony.
He's one of the best out there.
He is.
Happy to see Anthony last night here at the dinner.
So nice of him to come down from Franklin Lakes, celebrate your little brother. All right, Dave. So Murphy Schneider up 1-love, third set on national champions, former national champions, Guillermo Nunez and Mark Powers. Dave, you're clairvoyant, as I think I've recognized many times in my life and my friendship with you. Who's winning this?
I mean, Murphy Schneider is looking good, but I can't get myself to not pick Nunez and Powers.
Yeah,
and again, like I said the other night, you know, when I make predictions, I'm not rooting for one, I'm not rooting for the other, but, you know, it's hard to bet against Nunez and Powers. You know, and again, if that doesn't mean that if Murphy and Schneider pull this out, I'm going to be upset. You know, I'm going to be very happy for them, but, you know, if I have to make a prediction, you know, you kind of have to go with Nunez and Powers.
Yeah, you got to go with the team that's won, former national champs. It's just interesting, Dave. You know, I feel like they're a little bit, I don't think they're on the struggle bus, and I don't think they expected to go through Murphy and Schneider, even though you look at the draw and you're saying, they're a tournament's number 2 seed. They won nationals 2 years ago. But that's why you play the game, and nationals is different, and the pressure that you carry into nationals as one of the higher seeds, it's mighty. You think about it every minute of the day. It just wears on you, and you get to this point, and then, you know, then everything's on the line, and you've got to execute, and you got to hope you don't run it against a team
coming in hot.
Yeah, coming in hot, and Murphy Schneider, they seem up to the task here in this round of 16 match.
And Patty, I think if Murphy and Schneider are able to pull this out, they're gonna win this match. Nunez and Powers is, you know, definitely not gonna make it easy on them. They're not gonna give away a lot of, you know, they're not gonna give away a lot of points. You know, Murphy and Schneider are gonna have to win this if they want to prevail and move on to the quarterfinals tomorrow. Right, again, we're here live at Canoe Brook Country Club at the 2026 APTA Nationals. I'm Dave Broderick along with Patty Hogan, bringing you APTA's Wire to Wire, where we're checking in on numerous multiple matches. We're down to the last one that we're covering, Patty, here. Murphy and Schneider with Nunez and Powers in the third set.
Dave, how about a quick shout out to John Hughes? Mark Power's former partner. They made 2 finals. They won the national championship. Did they beat your brother in the finals of nationals?
I think they did. Didn't they stopped the streak?
They stopped the 3-year streak that Palmer and Broderick enjoyed. And shout out to John. He came back and played a tournament this year. Great to have him back here. Dad of twins, and they've got a lot of activities. And I kind of follow it with John's posts on Facebook and his wife's post. As I do the Fraser family, Olivia, shout out to Olivia Fraser. You know, you got these little kids, Dave. There's a lot of demands. You're lucky. You're on the north side of it. You don't worry about like dropping them off for preschool or after-school play dates. Your daughter Marissa getting married in September.
Yeah. I just have to worry about them when they're in their cars out at night. You never stop worrying.
You never stop worrying. I thought you might have said you were worrying about your wardrobe, Dave, for that night.
No, my man Paul McClutchy's got me all tightened up with a nice tuxedo from McClutchy Custom
Wow.
Clothing.
All right. Morgan McNerney, Dave, up 5-0. Double match point on Garcia Nieto Quintana.
Monster forehand by Mark Powers.
The winner of this match, Dave, will come out and play your buddy Russell Bentheim and Gabe Friedrich, quarterfinals. Men's quarterfinals, 12 o'clock tomorrow. Gonna be an amazing day here at Canubra Country Club in Summit. Like we said, take an Uber, come over here. You can't drive. There's limited parking here only because there's so many volunteers taking up all those parking spots, Dave. Just an extraordinary effort. And but we want you to come out. There's great amenities for the spectators. It's a national second to none, in my opinion, Dave. They've hit it out of the park. Kudos to Blake Anderson, Rob Scanoni, John Lubab, and the entire committee doing just a phenomenal effort, and it's all playing out beautifully here at Canubra Country Club.
Patty, Tom Murphy, Ronnie Schneider.
Up 3
love
on Nunes and Powers. Oh boy. Mark's mom Denise she's probably a little concerned right now, Dave. She's a big fan of the APTA streaming and enjoys listening to you in particular, Dave. All right.
I appreciate that from her.
Dave Dobick and Pardo DeAndre. Couple of set points on your little brother and Tomas Christian here in the second set. But I mean, it's not a shock. I just assumed Drew would be playing out there in 3 sets no matter what.
What's the game score in that match, Patty?
So Dave, right now, Dobic and Pardo up 5-4.
5-4. They were up 5-2 at one point. So.
Yep, 5-4. You know your brother, never say die. There's no score that ever bothered Drew as a competitor. Quite remarkable. Score that it's got to bother Nunes Powers down 0-3 to Murphy and Schneider. I mean, would this be a shocker, Dave?
I think it would be a shocker.
I mean, Indianapolis. This could be the greatest thing that happened to them since, was it Peyton Manning who played for them for a little bit?
That's it.
I mean, you see Nunes Powers in the draw, and you just kind of, you feel like you could fill in your brackets with them. That's how reliable they are. But like I said, nationals are a totally different beast. And getting through the 16s, the quarters, the semis, it's just a mental and physical challenge for every player.
And Patty, we talk about it all the time about, what adjustments can a team make. And if you're Nunez and Powers, I don't know if there are adjustments to make. I just think Murphy and Schneider are coming up with the goods, hitting, really good shots on, when they need them.
Is this a must-win game for Nunez Powers? How many times do we ever say that, Dave? I kind of think it is.
Not often, but I think it is. Big cut overhead there by Guillermo Nunez. All right, Nunez Powers get on the board.
You recognize that voice? I think that's Meredith, Mark's wife. Come on, Mark, let's go. Shout out to Charlotte and Jeff enjoying the action up north, Dave. Charlotte's going to come down tomorrow and be a runner for us. Keep us up to date on everything going on around while we're in our media room down here at Canoe Brook. This is quite an amazing setup for all the broadcasters. There's 8 of us here, and we are so spread out, and we have every creature comfort that we need, Dave.
That's it.
Although you haven't taken off your winter coat. I think you got frozen out in your earlier match in a position a little closer to the door.
Still getting that chill out of my bones. Pat, I just want to add to, I got to see her and talk to her a little bit. Meredith, Mark Powers' wife at the Short Hills Invitational, and she is one of the nicest people
She's
that we
great.
get to run into. I always enjoy seeing her. She's always kind enough to give me a big hello and ask how I'm doing, so I appreciate her very much. She's a super wonderful person.
Yeah, she's a gem. I love this match being played by Murphy Schneider. I mean, they came out here with the belief that they could win it, Dave. Lost that first set 7-5, came back and won that brawl 7-6, up 3-1 on our tournament's number 2 seed. Great effort.
And Patty, again, this is the beauty of platform tennis. 5 minutes ago we were talking about, the Nunez and Powers bus was getting ready to start warming up for a trip back home, and here they are with, another point to just get back onto serve and right back in this set.
Hey, Dave, shout out to former board member Dan Englander, who was in attendance last night for your brother's induction and Jared's induction. Great to see Dan out here. He works, he knows the Mark Powers game pretty well. They work together, don't they, Dave?
Absolutely, Ursula Capital. And I think Dan was saying that he might be on site for tomorrow.
I hope so. Anytime Dan Englander's around, it's always better. Dave, your mouth is open. You're in shock, aren't you, right here? Murphy Schneider from Indianapolis, up 4-1 on our tournament number 2 seed team of Guillermo Nunez and Mark Powers. I mean, this is where we're kind of watching this, and you just kind of expect Nunez and Powers. They're like, all right, boys, we're off, and they shift into third gear and then fourth gear. But Schneider and Murphy are playing an amazing match here, and they're not letting that happen. Dave, bad news. Your little brother just lost the second set. 6-4. Dobbich and Pardo de Andrade won that. So we're going 3. Guy Moore and Brad Easterbrook are on the call over there on Drew's match. They just had a visiting guest, John Lubau, one of the co-chairs of the Nationals. John did an amazing job with sponsorship, fundraising, and John is such a great player. Teamed up with Steve Rose. What a great run they had. Reached the finals of Nationals at Indian Trail years ago. They pulled off an upset then at the time over the team of Broderick and who was his partner when Lubau DeRose made it to the national finals that year.
Chris Gambino.
Chris Gambino. Lubau DeRose. Amazing win there. Great one of Jersey's great teams, and Johnson did a phenomenal job, like I said, with fundraising here. He went to every club in New Jersey, and he kind of, made an ask to support the Nationals, and so many clubs did, so many teams did, and you look at a banner out front, and it's quite remarkable the support that those Nationals in New Jersey received from so many New Jersey clubs. But that's what makes New Jersey, I think, the capital of platform tennis, Dave, because of that generosity of spirit. And, in this case, they had to reach into their pockets, and the leagues all supported it, and quite remarkable. So, Murphy and Schneider, 4-1, third set, Dave. Looking for a berth in tomorrow's quarterfinals. That match would be against Russell Benkheim and Gabe Friedrich. And 12 o'clock, all the men's quarters. 10 o'clock, all the women's quarters. Then what happens, Dave?
Then we have semifinal matches coming your way.
Yeah, semifinals. Tomorrow's going to be a great day of paddle. I mean, tune in or come over to Canubrook. Like we said, great amenities here for all the players, all the fans, all the broadcasters. We're grateful for the effort that Canubrook has put out here, put on a top-notch offering, and making this such a special event for everyone.
Patty, just for the record, Murphy and Schneider are still 5 points away from winning this match now.
Murphy and Schneider are the real deal, Dave. We've always known that.
They're so far away from winning this match, but the reality is it's only 5 points.
I know, that's amazing to think about. There's no add point. It's what makes it so exciting. I love that the APTA adapted this format to have the sudden death points at deuce. I mean, and it is a game changer. Oh my God, what a sick backhanded drop shot cutter from Mark Powers right there. Whew. That was huge.
Remember that shot in a little while.
Remember that shot, because that could be the moment. Little stretch there from Ronnie Schneider. Hopefully everybody's okay. What a battle this match is, Dave. How many matches have they played before this today?
2 matches.
Tom Murphy starting off, dumped that in the bottom of the net. Bummer for him. Ooh, that was damn close, but what a great serve. But these are the moments that Murphy and Schneider, you can't force it, but they got to keep their foot on the gas, because they're playing a great match and they're winning against our tournament's number 2 seeded team. Dave, and if you wanted to watch the third set of your brother's match, regardless of how long this match goes, I think you're going to be able to join it at probably like 1-1 in the third set.
Patty's a big group watching the live stream over at Senecor Padel over in Morristown.
They've got a watch party going on over there?
A watch party, yeah.
Nice. If you've got a watch party, tell us about it. If you have Dave's text or mine, take a picture, send it to us. We'll give you a shout out. If you're enjoying this match and you want to hear more from Diamond Dave, throw something in the chat and if you have a question, we'll answer it. Unless it's a really silly question.
To the best of our ability.
And actually, don't throw any comments there. Dave just told me his phone is just lighting up. He gets so many texts. When I do matches with Dave, I mean, I just want to tell his friends, Dave's busy. He's working right now. Don't chat. Don't text him. Oh, here's a shout out. Our buddy Ray Crosser. Great to see him last night at the Hall of Fame induction. Ray's watching with his family, enjoying the action. Ray, who's winning this match? Send me your prediction and send me the score. If you're right, you get a free beer if you show up tomorrow. Dave, how about that Denise Murphy from Chicago? Part of our broadcast team. That girl's the bomb.
Varsity player, team player.
She is the absolute ultimate team player. If she's really a team player, Dave,
We're just not going to let her go home.
I feel like she's going to get an order from you right now. We'll take it. She's the ultimate team player because she's leaving her laptop for us so that you can keep calling this match, Dave. You're going to take it home to the country, aren't you?
We will. We'll keep it safe.
You keep a close eye on that. All right, so Nunes Powers closing the gap here, Dave. It was 4-1, but now it's 4-3. And this is when I call it Nunes Powers time because I rarely see them stay in a, they're in a deep hole there to start this third set, and they're kind of climbing out of it.
They've definitely
shortened
the gap in this third set.
Dave, would it be wrong of me to say this is a must-win game for Murphy Schneider to win this match? Use your clairvoyance, look into your crystal ball. What do you think about that? Because I feel like all of a sudden
Murphy Schneider have to win this match. At this point,
I think
game,
they have to win this game. Because I just think Nunes Powers, boom, they are on a roll. They've got the momentum. Dave, are you getting hungry? Our head of all the umpiring, Mike Yahemsky, does an amazing job for the APTA.
Maybe hangry.
And he's right by us, and he's got like these French fries dripping in ketchup, made especially by Canubrook for this national final. And I just really can't resist. So let me taste one and report back.
Patty, these guys all better play great paddle because I'm getting hangry. And I might say something that they're not going to like.
Mike, thank you for sharing. Great French fries. Come over for the food tomorrow, you guys. I highly recommend it. Oh my gosh, Dave, was that the best lunch you ever had at a battle tournament besides at Fiddler's Elbow today?
Amazing. Truly everything that the committee for this event has put together has been, second to none.
All right, Dave, newsflash. Not really newsflash, just an update. The Crostas are reporting in. They're going Nunes Powers 7-5.
So they're banking on it's going to get tighter.
Dave, right before you get hangry, is there anything you could have that would make you happy again?
No, all good right now.
Do you know I come with a food aisle to tournaments? And I'm a good sharer. That's what happens when you grow up with 10 brothers and sisters. You learn to share.
Patty, we've kind of seen in the last couple of games Nunes and Powers going a little bit to lockdown mode.
I was just thinking that I think they're drawing on their inner Drew Broderick a little bit here. Seems like the tempo's kind of slowed down a little bit. I mean, not as slow as Drew's tempo, but yeah, they're in lockdown big time. If you're Murphy Schneider, Dave, who do you want hitting the overheads to you? You want Nunes hitting that lefty spin overhead, or do you want Mark Powers hitting the righty overhead?
I don't know, Patty. That's a tough call. I mean, Nunes, Powers both have really good overheads. I think the one advantage that Guillermo Nunes may have is that one sort of cross-court slash overhead at the body of Schneider.
You know, Schneider likes to pull the trigger on that forehand. I'm kind of waiting for Guy to just bait him a little bit.
What a catch by Tom Murphy. I mean, that was a pretty incredible drop shot there by Mark Powers. Tell you, Patty, this has been a great day, now turning into night of paddle matches here at Canoe Country Club in Summit, New Jersey.
Dave, you're a pretty good player. I believe you made it to the finals of the New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association with a young Blake Anderson years ago when you both were working at the Short Hills Club. What's the longest paddle match you ever played?
Maybe 3.5 hours.
Was it that match?
It was not that match, but you know what? That match was close. I may have thrown in maybe a 4-hour match once or twice, but I've had a couple of long battles myself in my day. All right, Murphy Schneider back to 6 points away from moving on to their quarterfinals tomorrow.
The 6 hardest points they're going to ever have to earn in their life, in their paddle life. It's a huge moment for them.
They've been here not too long ago. Big forehand there by Tom Murphy.
Dave, your little brother Drew and Tomas Christian are up 1-love in the third set in their round of 16 match against Dobic and Pardo DeAndre. Rigoletto Salazar have already advanced to the quarterfinals. They'll play the winner of the Broderick Dobic match. Leon and Morio got the win in a walkover, I think, over Burris or Doya. They're up slated to play Grigorovich and Stojic. We've got Morgan and McNerney playing against Hansen and Thaler. And Benheim, Friedrich await the winner of the Nuna Powers Murphy Schneider match.
Patty, I'll tell you, through the course of this match, one thing that stayed consistent is Murphy and Schneider are just making it very difficult to win points. They haven't given away many points throughout the course of this match. And, we've seen it, we talk about it quite often, where that just kind of wears on you.
I think it is absolutely wearing on Nunez Powers here. I'm thrilled for Murphy Schneider that they showed up in this match. I knew they would show up and be competitive, but I love for them that they're putting up an extraordinary battle in here and have the lead, and they're causing Nunez and Powers to be a little bit out of sorts here, and I've never seen Nunez miss a flyer like that on a volley. I don't think he's ever missed a volley like that, Dave. Oh my gosh, 3 break points on the Mark Powers serve here for Murphy and Schneider to go up 5-3, third set. Round of 16, we're at the 2026 APTA National Championships. I'm Patty Hogan along with New Jersey's finest broadcaster, Dave Broderick.
Patty, I may be New Jersey's only full-time resident of broadcasting. The good news is that it's only taken me since 12 o'clock this afternoon to realize that.
Dave, don't explain anything. Just take it. Graciously take it.
Absolutely. I'm going to go home and update my LinkedIn account and put that on it.
New Jersey's finest. All right, 1 point back for Nunez Powers. Ooh. Schneider went big. Probably the wrong moment given this. You've got to understand, this is the moment. They had 3 break points against Mark Powers. You can't give anything away at this moment if you want to close out this match. And
just like that.
Ooh, 2 turds right there.
Nunez and Powers have a point to go to 4-all.
Murphy Schneider, come on, guys. Keep it going. And this is where Nationals is so different in the pressure. And, I've never wanted any team to lose, Dave. And I've always said I'm a big fan of Nunez Powers. But I love Murphy Schneider and the fight they're putting up here. And those 2 points, those 2 misses might come back to haunt them big time in this match. Because I don't expect Powers and Nunez to go away at all. They're amazing champions in our sport, and Murphy and Schneider are going to have to earn it. They're not going to win. They're not going to get over this threshold making errors. I don't think they have to hit winners, but they've got to get the ball keep the ball on Nunes and Power side of the court. They got to keep getting the ball in play. 4-all, Dave. All of a sudden, whew, I mean, how many times have we seen it like that? Up 4-1, all of a sudden, great players rise, and that's their greatest moment when the pressure is the greatest in matches. And
I said 4-3. It was a must-win game for Murphy.
well, we
and
both said
Meta.
that. We knew when there was that changeover, they had to win that game to kind of keep their momentum going. And you knew Nunes and Powers just needed a little bit of air in that circumstance. Right in that moment. And Dave, I really think the separation in every sport is players who have the ability to recognize the moment and handle that moment with their shot selection, with their execution. And that's where Nunes Powers, they always rise.
What a shot there by Tom Murphy. He digs the slash overhead by Powers, and then he nonchalantly just slides one down the line.
Nothing to it. Dave, great news for Team Broderick. Broderick Christian up 2-0 in the third set against Dobbich and Pardo. But
That doesn't mean anything, Patty. I mean,
That
from what
doesn't
we've
mean-
watched throughout
it
the
doesn't
course of the
mean jack.
year, for what we watched
Yeah.
today, it's
yeah, it doesn't mean jack. All these players are just such amazing competitors.
And again, that's what makes it, great that everybody has an opportunity, to come back. This is a game where you can come back.
Great hands. Tom Murphy did a great job defending the onslaught from Mark Powers. We'll switch on the baseline. That's Ronnie Schneider, and Guy Nunes slid one in over the ad court, had a big opening, recognized it, got that ball hitting the nick a little bit coming out, and there's the Powers return of serve. That forehand, oh my lord, little overreactive volley right there from Murphy, and Nunes Powers down 4-1, coming back big time, tied up 4-all, 30-all, gigantic moment in the point. And look at that pressure that Powers applied from the ad court, just started moving forward. He had so much confidence in the return of serve from Nunes, and caught the eye of Ronnie Schneider, and he pushed that ball wide.
Patty, how about this? How many times has Powers shown blitz off the Nunes return?
He didn't show it until he needed there was a moment right there,
A
and he
big
just
point like 4-all, 30-all?
and I love that, Dave. I love that surprise appearance. And Dave, here we go. No outscoring. Server picks. They're going to Mark Powers.
Does Nunes blitz?
Absolutely. I was going to say, there's no doubt in my mind what Nunes and Powers are going to do right now.
And
They
just for the
can-
record, we're not on delay. We are not on delay. I did not watch this last night.
You just knew. And this is why Nunes and Powers are so great. In
Because
that
they're
moment
willing
of
to take
truth.
the chance at 4-all, deuce, sudden death point. They're putting the pressure on. They're not waiting to receive the pressure. They're putting the pressure on them.
Dave, big question. They're down 4-1. Now they're up 5-4. How many games have they won in a row?
5, carry the 3, 4.
It's like a question James Broderick asked you during Junior Nationals in his broadcasting debut.
What's 6 plus 7? I had to pause. I thought it was a trick question.
All right, so that's Guillermo Nunes, the lefty, serving, trying to serve this out, up 5-4. Gigantic turnaround. I mean, You don't even know what's happening to you if you're Murphy Schneider here.
But it's happening. And again, Murphy Schneider are not playing poorly. You know, it's just this whole match has been nobody's losing this match. When Murphy and Schneider were in the lead, they were winning the match. When Nunez and Powers were in the lead, they were winning the match. Nobody's losing this match.
No. It's just phenomenal paddle.
And this is a rare match for platform tennis because usually it comes down to errors, where this is just coming down to excelled play, high-level play.
Murphy and
Just
Schneider
like
have to.
that, triple match point.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I think they lost their legs in that last game, Dave. And what a turnaround. Nunez and Powers, that's why they're such an amazing team, Dave. Holy cow.
Patty,
Well,
first of all, I want to congratulate Tom Murphy and Ronnie Schneider.
Dave, I agree with you. I love these guys. I love the fight. I love how they showed up for this round of 16 match. I love these guys. Take it away, Dave. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, that's all I had to say is, you know, they should be proud of their result, proud of their effort, proud of the fight. You know, I saw them a few weeks ago, and they caught my eye, and I really enjoy watching them. I like their game. I like the way they play. And I mean, again, they were right there. They were right there. It was there for the taking for them tonight. And, you know, at the end, kind of when they were almost sort of down and out, Nunez and Powers just elevated their game. So congratulations to them for sticking with it and able to pull it out. And I think, Patty, that's about it for you and I.
Dave, what a great day of paddle. First day of nationals here at Canoe Brook in Summit, New Jersey. We love all of you who follow the stream. Anyone local, come over to Canoe Brook tomorrow because this experience is really one of a kind. The committee has done a wonderful job to have so many amenities for all the spectators and the players alike. And it's just pretty awesome to be a part of this. Dave, I can't wait till tomorrow. We're going to wrap it up here from the APTA Nationals round of 16s. Tune in tomorrow, 10 o'clock, women's quarterfinal action. Great job, Dave.
Patty, thank you as always. And I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow morning.